how is Christ the divinity. You've been taught that in your ministries. But I want to talk about you, the soul being divinity. And in my interpretation, or as it was given to me, from what I've heard, you're divided. So your divinity means you're divided from your enemies, from your old pattern of thinking, and even from societal thinking. Social constructs, the government. Because I know every time I talk about the government, views get flagged, things don't get pushed out, certain words, cause the archons. I know you guys know where archons are. Rulers in dark hierarchical places in your mind or in your psyche. And they don't exist without you being identified. Yeah, without you being identified to what type of energy that they're seeking. Now, I know you may say, well, Shantavian, what's an archon? Just search it out, y'all. Search what an archon is, That's an actual thing. It's no separate from a demon or a devil, or an evil spirit, because what you give your energy to, that's what's really going to attack you. So I want to talk about the greatest enemy that I've seen in humanity, and that is humanity itself. The reason why you have to accept your divinity or be divided soul is because if you're look at all the protests. Look at all the protests that's going on around our country. All the cities, all the major cities who protest against, what's the government doing? Trump. This were to be flagged, Trump, against our president. Everybody's angry about the terrorists. Every rich American or every wealthy person is not angry because that's what this is about. Dropping the stock market, crashing it, buying in on it, making the wealthy more wealthy, and what we call modern society, people who work the 9-to-5 struggle more. So now that brings across in the division because locally you're in stores, paying for groceries, paying for clothing, paying for the essential things that you need, and yet the taxes are higher than they were prior years, even 2 weeks ago, and they're not raising your pay rate, people. They're not raising your pay rate. And then I say, go to the soul where you look, beyond your pay rate. Look at your source as being the supply, you being the source, because in you there are plenty of ideas, for change as far as your financial place. You know what I mean? And I won't. Oh man, pressure washing for those who like pressure washing, cutting grass for those who like cutting grass, cutting trees, flourish, a lot of things if you're a southerner. And then if you're not a southerner and if you're up in those big cities, you know all about the streets. You know all about the hustle. I ain't gonna tell you what those hustles are, because some of them are what we call illegal, what we think are legal. But isn't the government doing illegal all the time? So that's got to be a great divide. Wait a minute, Shantavian, you saying push illegal things that are illegal that are not known to the government out to get you financially paid? I ain't telling you what to do. I'm saying you seek your eternal soul, and what seems to be the identity of illegal to you, then you step away from it. That's your interpretation of illegal. Because if you look at what American society have given and the rules and regulation that leans towards illegal are now, there is no way that there's no laws that we believe. Do you believe these? That's what I'm saying. Do you actually believe the law that you are up under? And I ain't trying to form a riot, but I am trying to tell you, keep your enemies close, than your friends. Your enemy, you the one who fall into all of the traps and schemes of this 3D dimension of angels, demons, imps, and cohorts, and things of that nature. High places, rulers of darkness in high places, and who you think are leading the government, people? So my suggestion is what I've always thought about. Why aren't all of the leadership, the people who have communities of leadership like churches, ministry, why don't y'all teach school? the real meaning of life. Why don't y'all have grocery stores and people farming out here in the markets, and y'all come together wherever you are? Why all y'all come together with all the God power you have, and then indoctrinate the children, so they'll be financially stable and keep it going on, instead of, children in ministries growing old in their family. You say your ministry is thriving because you have family members that have children and grandchildren that get grown, and they tell their friend, and it's all the same cycle, y'all. It's all the same cycle. And you're mad at the government because you ain't done nothing about your enemy. You not accepting your divinity. You know what I mean? You mad because you're not accepting you for change? How dare you? So that's what I'm talking about. But all the institutions that we always talk about, man, we had this Black Power thing going for so, and all of most of the Black Power. Come on, y'all definitely. I've supported Black businesses. I have a business, and I ain't gonna call myself an African American or Black. I don't give you anything to identify to attack me with. I'm the soul. So when I hear about African American businesses, and you don't hold your employees and yourself to a standard of excellence over the years, and you always talking about, Caucasians, they stick together, when it's time for them to do something, that's why they're successful, or the Mexicans stick together, but now they're deported, but they always sticking together to do and, to achieve what they have to do. And all other nationalities, except for what we call African Americans. And we all say we ain't gonna do nothing, and say we ain't gonna do nothing. We ain't gonna do nothing because we all envious of one another. You can't stand one person to get ahead of the other, so we all gonna pull each other down. How long y'all gonna live that identical lie? Because you identify with it. That's a lie. That's a lie from the pit. If it was a hell, that's a lie from the pit of hell. And I don't believe in a hell, y'all. I believe in the truth and the soul. So this is what I say, divine. I have to become divine and exemplify divine. So I'm asking you. I'm asking you. I'm asking you to subscribe to my channel. Accept your divine self. There's stipulations, y'all. There's stipulations. The more that you engraft yourself to what I say, the more that you hear yourself inside of the words in these matters. Not just Shantavia, not a person coming on here trying to, being an influencer. I'm only trying to get you, well, now I'm not trying. I take that back. I'm only inciting you to remember, soul. I'm inciting you to remember that you are the change, you. And I keep going back to you, me, I'm the change. So that's why I don't give up. I don't give in. But I do expose, myself. And if you see you and me, then we are exposing each other for greatness and for the soul. I love you in the soul. I appreciate you. This is a governmental truth for the soul, eternal truth. We can create our own government. We can create our own government in the soul. Soul theory. I love you. I'll see you soon.